So my name is Beth Gordon, and I am actually a former Spanish teacher and coach who got sick, which led me on the journey that led to my entire business. What happened was I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. And after about 5 years of treatment, it led me to this place of really wanting to understand health and wellness better, which is not a place I saw myself at all. um, and so in the middle of that journey, what started to brew in me was understanding more about a toxic lifestyle and nutrition. And this was all stuff that I just did personally. And then when my first daughter was born, she's 8. I said first daughter. I only have one. I have 3 kids, 1 daughter. I don't know why I said that. But when my first child was born, it really just stirred in me this passion to understand how to make the healthiest home that I possibly could. And out of that, a couple of years later, our kids had this respiratory thing going on for a couple of years. And at the time, I was an admin at a nonprofit organization and really enjoyed my job, got to work from home part of the time. But I thought about health things all the time. I thought about health. I wanted to make healthy food. I wanted to understand how to make our home safer, all that kind of stuff. I would get home, get on my computer, and that's all I could think about. And so my best friend called me, this was about 5 years ago, and she said, do you know about essential oils? And at that point, I was kind of a self-proclaimed like alternative guru. And I had no idea what they were. And so I said, I don't know what they are. She said, I put them on my kids' feet. They stopped coughing. It was really weird. I was like, what? But at that point, because our kids had been dealing with this stuff for about 3 months, and our MD and our naturopath, nobody really had any answers for us. So I called someone, I got some, I put them on my kids, and the next 2 and 3 days, we had over the top incredible results. Wow. And so as a result of that, my husband and I just started talking about them. So we did network marketing, which is my business, for over 2 years before we even thought about jumping in. And so finally, after talking about them for 2 years and sending all these people to, the person who had introduced me to them, and she'd always say, I'll give you a free bottle of oil. And I was like, yay. And I was giving her dozens of people. So my husband finally looked at me and said, hey, why don't you do that? And I said, maybe I should. I really like talking about them. I always had them in my purse. I always was putting them on my kids. So that was a little over 3 years ago at this point that we jumped in. And our team grew really fast. And it has led to my favorite part of the business is that it has led the essential oils company has been the door into me talking about all things health. So I went and got my certification as a health coach. I have a blog now, and I absolutely love what I do. And the passion that began, 15 years ago when I was diagnosed with Lyme, it just keeps on getting bigger, and that's what I get to do every day. My name is Beth Gordon. I'm a blogger over at thecandidkitchen.com. Candid is with a K. I was feeling very creative that day. And my passion is to help people create a safer home and non-toxic lifestyle with the emphasis on essential oils, because we have seen such incredible and powerful results in our home. And my biggest thing that I love to do is help people understand how to use them, make them easy. And one of my philosophies is if I could do everything in a blender, I would, because I know that moms are busy and life is hard. And so that's how easy I want to make everything. I literally want to make essential oils and creating a safe home as easy as possible, which is why my team and I have created step-by-step ways of using them, understanding them, educating you about them. And that's really the heart of what I do. The reason that I honestly don't know that I could pinpoint that. I know that I was interested in getting input from people outside of network marketing. And that was probably the thing that led me to the Fresh community, was I saw her adorable pictures on Facebook with her and her family. And I knew she was obviously running a very strong and successful business, which is what I am doing and desire to do more of. And I hopped on a chat with her. She let me chat with her for 15 minutes before I jumped in. And I was really impressed with her ability to problem solve. At that point, I really wanted to start doing more funnels and opt-ins, and those were words that were totally confusing, and everybody was throwing them around in the, I'll say, normal business world, but what I mean is just outside network marketing.
Right.
And I really wanted to learn more, and she clearly knew her stuff, and was able to problem solve and give me some really great tips, even just those first 15 minutes that we chatted. So I found Amber from a referral through a friend who was in Haley Dale's group. My top favorite thing is whenever you're on a call, whether it's Power Hour or Open Studio or a Back Pocket TLC with Amber, you can tell that while you are talking about what your challenge or your need is, that she is already formulating a response. She is just this massive resource. And then what I love beyond that is if she doesn't have the answer, she can connect you with someone who does. And she has all these experts who specialize in all these different areas of business, whether it's Facebook ads or funnels or whatever it is, who she can point you to and connect you with, and you can even schedule time with them. And the positivity of the group, I have never seen a group that things go answered as quickly as they do, with the amount of input that you get. So it's been a tremendous asset to my business, and I feel like it's helped me breathe a little bit easier because I was having to spend so much time and energy finding answers for all these things. Mm-hmm. And now I come up against an obstacle and I'm like, oh, I'll just go post it in there. And for example, I'm going to give you an example. I knew I needed to take some of my resources and not move them, but create them in a different place from Facebook because not everybody's on Facebook anymore. Right. And so I posted in the Fresh group and said, hey, I think I need to make a members only area of my website. Has anyone done that? And within 5 minutes, I had 5 different recommendations with people who had used them, had input on them, and had exactly where I needed to look. So, I mean, it literally saved me hours that day of having to go and hunt and find all that stuff. I'm out of them. I am not a big picture vision person, which is something that I'm working on. I'm very good at tasks. I'm very good at helping my leaders do things. But when it comes to the big picture, the 90-day plan, that is something that I really struggle with. So my first Back Pocket TLC with Amber was incredibly helpful in that area. We were able to set a little bit of a vision goal and then break it down backwards into what my business needed to look like, what some next steps were, and then some areas that I needed to watch for and grow, over the next 90 days that I needed to be aware of. And then my other Back Pocket TLC was with Shay, mm-hmm. and he is as everyone in the Fresh group knows, the Facebook ads guru. And I needed to run my first ad, which I had never done when I got into the Facebook ads. I forget what it's even called. The Facebook ads page. She was able to walk me through everything. And again, I would say one of the biggest assets of this group is that it's saving me massive amounts of time. So I would have probably spent all day trying to get an ad going, and it probably would not have been super effective. I would not have known how to do the pixel. I would not have known where to look on my website. I would not have known how to narrow down my audience and what numbers I should be targeting. And she was able to walk me through all of that. And we were only on the phone. I think she was very nice and stayed on a little bit longer with me. But it was a very short amount of time. I was set up, good to go. And it was awesome. Jump in and utilize all the resources. She has an incredible members area that you have access to. And I think I waited 2 or 3 months to go poke around in there, which I wish I wouldn't have because it has incredible amounts of resources. I was at that time trying to work on running a campaign for my first ad. And she had an entire spreadsheet of one of their big ads that they did. So I was able to see the big picture of how they did their funnels and what they did to try and get people in and what they did afterwards in their email campaign. So she really gives you a window into what a successful business looks like in that area of things. And I would also say, jump in and ask questions. That is, I think I felt a little nervous at the beginning. I knew that I was kind of the fish out of water as a network marketer. I don't have a strong business background, but I knew I really needed the input of people in there. And even though I have become a businesswoman, which was not my intent when I was a Spanish teacher and coach, that really has been, I would say, the thing that has turned things around for me is I've allowed myself to use the resources. So I ask lots of questions, I do searches, I utilized her resource area, and she's available too. So she really says, hey, if you have questions, text me, message me. And I would say take her at her word, not like crazy things like with everything. But if you really do have, a significant business question or anything, she really does want to be available. And if she doesn't have the answer, she'll connect you with someone who does. I haven't. I would say you should do it. I would also say it has been the most fun mix of people who are driven, real business men and women, but also this really great balance of being real people. That I have loved that there are no egos in there. Everybody is there to help each other, to support each other, to stay positive. And it really is, it has been an incredible asset for my business. I've learned a ton. And I can't think of a reason why you shouldn't.